Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. It's Shelby. Today we're going to be doing my February bullet journal plan with me for my reading journal in my Archer and Olive bullet journal. So right now I'm just kind of clipping the page down. I got these really neat clips, I think off of Amazon. I don't really remember, but I see a lot of other YouTubers use clips to put down their pages so they can draw, so that's what I used. In the last clip you just saw, I am filling in like black on the bottom and the top of the pages. I wanted to use black as like the background for my cover page, and I have the Archer and Olive notepads where it's just different like black and white and like the craft paper pages that I can just tear out and put into my journal as I want. And it's an A5 size, and my bullet journal is an A5 size, but for some reason the pages don't fit in my bullet journal, and it's from the same company, so I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, I already pre-drew my cover pages and what I was wanting to do, so I just taped those into my bullet journal, and now I'm just kind of coloring it all in. For February, since it is Valentine's Day is coming up, I wanted to do a take on like a love potion, and I just kind of ran with that. So this first page I drew kind of an old looking like potion bottle. I modeled it off of some images I found of the what's the love potion, like Emortentia? I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's the love potion mentioned in Harry Potter. So this is pretty similar to different people's like drawings of that love potion. So I decided to do that. So I thought it's a big old heart, and I thought it would be really pretty. And then the other page, which I will be coloring in and filling in a second, since it's a potion, I thought it'd be neat to draw an apothecary, like a old storefront where they would sell like tonics and potions. Apothecaries were basically pharmacies in the like olden times, like ye old. Anyway, so, and they would sell different like antidotes or medicines or what have you. So I thought it'd be cute to draw out this old little storefront, with the storefront at the bottom, and then there's like a residence or something up at the top. And here I'm making this like purple smoky something or other, just to kind of give it, like, make it a little bit more like magical looking, give it another pop of color. But I wanted to draw these, and I thought the black paper, I could have done it with any of the paper and I think it would have been good, but I really like the aesthetic of the black paper and how the colors really pop out. I'm using the Archer and Olive Acrylograph pens to do basically all of my drawing and coloring on these pages, and I really like them. They work really well, especially, like I said, that pop of color. I did realize as I was doing this that you really have to actually do like the instructions that they have on the box when you get the acrylograph pens, because and it makes them work a lot better. So they recommend like wiping the tips off with like a rag or something like that. And I had not been doing that, and I definitely should have, because I noticed the tips would start to like dry out and I couldn't get the color out, or if I did start to get the color out, it wouldn't be as saturated. So, and then I have to like constantly keep going over it, like let it dry and go over it, and to make the color more saturated. And I realized that I needed to be wiping the tips off, because once I started doing that, it worked so much better. But anyway, so here's kind of a quote page, I guess, with the Love Potion bottle that I found online. So I'm just filling in the different letters, which again, I found a like old-timey kind of font. That's how I'm filling it in, which I don't really like. I tend to have a problem when I'm doing letters or writing things out to make them go at an angle. They're not straight like they should be, but oh well. And then I don't always plan out my words and letters, so as you can see, I didn't leave myself enough space for fumes and size on the same like level. So size is just kind of smushed there in the corner because I started to run out of room for it, but oh well. But anyway, now I'm just kind of coloring in, filling in those letters. And if the quote doesn't make sense right now, I'm going to be filling in more words and it'll hopefully start to make sense. I found this online and I thought it fit pretty well with the image that I decided to do for this page. And it's a quote from William Shakespeare. I think it's from Romeo and Juliet, if I'm not mistaken. But it is, "Love is a smoke and is made with the fumes of sighs." So I thought that was neat because the fumes kind of match like the purple, magic-y, smoky stuff, and then the love. So I liked it. Now I'm starting on the Apothecary building, which I drew out. And then I'm starting to color it in. And there it is, all colored in, if you can see the little bits around my hand. But now I'm just putting in the word apothecary on like the sign above the door. So like any store that you would go to, it has like the sign of what it is. And I'm writing that in the yellow. So I thought that would make it really pop out against the like darkish blue. You can see again, I'm not the best at lettering. I try. They don't really match up. Like, I keep looking back now after I've done it. I'm just like, my E in that is so thick compared to the A and the P and how I started that word, but it's fine. But overall, I'm pretty proud of what I did here. It's a lot more art than I did for the January spread, but not as much as I had to do for my initial spreads for the year. I do think it probably took me, from the time it took to draw everything out until I was done with coloring everything in, I think it probably took me like 6 to 7 hours to do all of this. So it did take quite some time. And now I'm just writing the tonics and potions because that's the type of things that you might find in this particular store. And then last is just writing the month down at the bottom. Okay. On to the next page. So this is going to be my days read page. I liked using this in my January spread, so I decided to keep it and do it for February. As you're going to see from the rest of the spreads, I decided not to do a TBR spread just because I didn't use it last month. And I don't always stick to my TBRs when I do tend to make a TBR list because I'm a moon reader and I may think at the beginning of the month that I'm going to read a certain amount of books or certain types of books, and then I just don't feel like reading them. So I decided just to forgo doing a TBR spread and see if I like it. But like I said, I did like the days read spread. So this is how I'm doing it is like I don't know, what do you call this? A shelf that you might find in Apothecary. I looked up a bunch of images for like Apothecary shelves or bookcases. So that's what I drew. And then I drew out all these different types of like potion bottles. And so those are going to be my days of the month. So each day that I read, I'm going to fill in and color in a potion bottle with a different color. And then I also drew a cool looking like chandelier, like old chandelier up at the top, because I found a bunch of images when I was looking for images of apothecaries that had these cool different chandeliers. So I decided to put that in at the top in this spread. And then I'm doing that same lettering from the cover pages to write out days read up at the top. There we go. And then the next page, I'm splitting it in half. And then I'm just drawing in a little cauldron with some sort of potion brewing. We're going to assume it's a love potion since there's little hearts coming out of it. And this is going to be the top pages I devoted to my stats for the different stats that I'm planning on keeping of the types of books that I read, like how many books and how many stars that I gave different books, that kind of thing at the top. And then the bottom is going to be where I'm listing out my anticipated reads, the books that I'm most anticipating that are coming out in February. So I'll write the date and what book it is down at the bottom. There we go. And then the next page is going to be my books hauled page. I decided the little image that I decided to do for this one is a few books and then a mortar and pestle on top of the books. So a mortar and pestle, if you've never used one before, you can use those just to grind up different herbs, like dried herbs. So I'm assuming this would have been used in Apothecary to make different tonics or medicines, grinding up herbs and putting into mixtures, and then books. So that's the image I decided to do on this page. And like I said, this is my books hauled page, so I try to keep track of the books that I buy. I do tend to buy a lot of books, and I'm trying to keep track of it just to try to motivate myself not to buy so many books, but it tends to be hard to do. I'm working on it. I have an addiction. And then I'm going to split this up. I always end up splitting my books hauled page into ebooks versus physical books. And it ends up being, usually it's one or the other. I don't tend to buy a lot of both. It's either I buy almost exclusively ebooks that month, or I buy almost exclusively physical books. I never know which way it's going to go. And then the opposite page, I'm just drawing a little potion bottle with the same kind of like smoky, magically, I don't know what you call it, behind it. Make it kind of pop out. Give the page a little bit of color. I really like that shade of green. It's very springtimey and fresh. I'm so ready for springtime. Who else hates the winter? Because that's totally me. I like all these pretty colors. Here we go. Here I'm just writing the title of these spreads out. So books hold. And like I said, I split it up between ebooks and physical books. Those are the majority of the books that I buy. I don't tend to buy like audiobooks. I guess. I do have an subscription to Audible, the Amazon Audible. So I guess I do pay for audiobooks since I have to pay for that every month. But I don't really count it. Anyway, this is my next page. So this spread, I decided to do the black page on the back as the background again on this one. So that's why I'm coloring in the top and the bottom of this. Again, I don't really understand, since my book and my Notepad pages are from the same company and they're supposed to be the same size, yet it doesn't fit. It's too small. I don't understand how that happens. It's kind of frustrating because I got the art journal specifically because it would fit into my bullet journal, and it doesn't. I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, this page, I'm drawing a different kind of potion bottle. And I decided to fill it in part of the way with some type of potion. And this page I'm going to use as my goals check-in page. I realized in the last month, so the beginning of the year, I made a bunch of goals for myself. And most of the goals were goals that I wanted to make sure I did. Every month, I would do these certain things. But last month, I think I maybe only did half of them just because I totally forgot what some of my goals were. I forgot that I was even trying to work towards these goals. So I thought it would be a good idea to put those goals in here again as a reminder, since I'm going to be constantly in this journal and flipping to these February pages, since that's the month we're on, to remind myself about those goals. And I'm going to put it as like a little like checklist. So then once I've done one of the goals or achieved the goals, then I can check it off my list. And up at the top, I did some, I want to go with lavender is what I tried to go with. How you would like hang herbs to make them dry. So I did that at the top corner. And then on the opposite page, I'm filling in another old-timey chandelier. And this page is going to be my YouTube ideas and my planner for my YouTube videos. I found last month that I really used my dump page that I had, and I ended up having to tape in another page because I used it so much and filled it up. But I think about half of what I put on there were ideas for videos, ideas for YouTube, just different ideas along that. And I thought it might be a good idea just to devote an entire page to that. So we'll see. I'm sure I'll still have tons of ideas, and I thought I could fill it in on this page. So then my dump page can be for other things, any random thing that comes to mind. Okay. The next two pages, and this is going to be my brain dump page. Like I said, I used it a ton last month. I have a feeling I'm going to use it a ton this month too, just because how my brain works. If I think about something and I don't write it down, I will forget about it. So I tend to write everything down. Any ideas that I'm having, I use it for, writing grocery lists or making other types of lists, like books I want, or other, review ideas. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty random. But like I said, if it doesn't get written down on paper, I didn't have the thought. It gets lost in the nether world, and it didn't happen unless I write it down. So I'll probably be using a lot of this spread. And hopefully I don't have to put in extra pages, since I devoted some other pages to like the YouTube ideas, and I won't have to write them down on this general brain dump page. I decided not to do too many like pictures or drawings on this one, just a nice sign for the title. It's like I said, I want to have as much space on these pages as possible, since I have a feeling that I'm going to use almost all of it. Yeah, my pen started to dry out there, so that's why I was like, maybe I'll try out wiping the tip off and see if that works, since that's actually in the instructions, and that's what's recommended. That's why you should read instructions before you do anything. So I'm going over those letters because it started to dry out, and the white color wasn't as saturated on top of the blue background. And now it is, because now the ink is coming out and it looks so much better. And it works so much better too. And then the next page, and this is going to be the last page of my bullet journal, and I'm using craft paper just to tie things together. I'm not going to put a whole lot on this page, but this is what I'm going to devote to writing out sort of my rating system and how I'm going to review the books that I read. I found in the last month how I normally reviewed my books wasn't enough for me. I felt like I wasn't writing enough information down to help me remember all the things that I wanted to remember about books. And I didn't think it would help me with recommending books or reviewing my books for my YouTube channel. So I decided to write down how I'm going to change my review system, and I decided to write that there. So here's just the final spread, the final flip through of my February reading journal. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. There's a few things, again, there's always a few things that I would change, but I like it. I'm pleased. So thanks, everybody.